Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back for another episode of Into the Floo. In today's episode, I'm going to go over another deck tech. This is a deck that I found on Pojo again, and I built it. I actually like the way that it plays. I've only played it a couple times. I recently built it. But anyway, I'm going to go over it with you guys and see what you guys think. And if there's any cards that you think would be best in the place of others, then please let us know. And if you've played with a deck similar, or if you've built any decks from the Pojo link that I left in the description of the previous video, or I'm sure you guys have already known about that website, then let us know which deck you like. There's so many of them on there, and it's a really creative way of seeing what people did 20 some years ago when they were building cards. Especially the majority of the decks that I've seen don't have Chamber of Secrets cards, so I know that I think it was at the time before the Chamber of Secrets even came out. And so a lot of them are just using base set, Quidditch, Diagon Alley. And so it's really kind of cool to see what they come up with the limited cards that they had. So we'll do a deck tech for you, see what you think about it. Let's go. All right, everybody, here we go. So this is another deck tech for you, and the deck name that is on Pojo, in case you guys are interested in checking this out, is Professor McGonagall's Potions. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I was really interested because I haven't had a potions deck with Professor McGonagall as a starting character. So here we go. There are 22 potion lessons that are in the deck itself, and of course, as we know, McGonagall is going to provide that transfiguration lesson power that we're going to need for the transfiguration cards. So it's got 22 potion lessons. The only items that we're running in this deck are Pewter Cauldron. For those that are not familiar with this one, it's an item that states to play this card, discard one of your potion lessons from play. And all it does is provide 3 power for use. So it does cost 5, but you'll be able to get that with Professor McGonagall providing 1 and those 22 lessons that you've got. And then at that point, you can remove 1, discard it, and then you get 3 in its place. So yeah, we're running 4 of those. The spells that are in this deck are Malevolent Mixture. To play this card, discard 2 of your potion lessons from play, do 10 damage to your opponent or to a creature of your choice. So pretty heavy. 10 damage is not something to bat your eyes at. Discarding 2 potion lessons. For me, for those who know or have listened to any of the episodes from our podcast, Rennervate, I just have like a really hard time with potion decks because of this right here. Discarding 2 to get rid of, discarding 2 to do 10 damage. I just have a hard time discarding because I know that it leaves you so vulnerable when you're like taking down those lessons that you have in play in order to do something, because your opponent could have a lost notes where they're getting rid of your own lessons for you. They could have a Dobby's Disappearance, they could have Hover Charm, they could have Defendo, they could have a lot of different things in their deck where if you're already getting rid of your own lessons to do something, and then they're going to get rid of your lessons also, knowing that you're going to be vulnerable, to me, it's just, it's hard, but I'm trying to get over it, which is why I decided to build this deck, because I needed to. So we're running 3 Malevolent Mixture in this deck. Next, we've got Pomfrey's Pick Me Up, which is pretty cool because you're able to put 3 non-healing cards from your discard pile at the bottom of your deck in any order. And then it also allows you to draw a card. So that's pretty dope. So we're running 4 Pomfrey's Pick Me Up in that deck. Next card we have is another healing, and it's Burning Bitterroot Bomb. To play this card, discard 1 of your potion lessons from play, shuffle up to 10 non-healing cards from your discard pile into your deck. This is helpful, especially if you're already, like, if you're running out of all these lessons that you're discarding yourself, then you could use something like this to discard another one and then shuffle up to 10 cards to put them back into your deck. So cards like this are always helpful. You know, having something like a Madame Pomfrey would also be helpful if you wanted to kind of switch it up. Like I said, this deck as we see it in this video is exactly how they had it listed on the website. And so I haven't changed anything, but I can kind of see that there's a few things that I would already probably change. And I might add like a potions dungeon, which instead of discarding the lessons, I'll be able to add them back to my hand. But I'm just trying to respect the deck for what it is and not go in and changing it up or anything like that just yet. So we're running 4 Burning Bitterroot Balm in this deck. Next we've got is Dog Breath Potion. To play this card, discard 1 of your potion lessons from play. Do 8 damage to your opponent or to a creature. It costs 6. It does 8 damage. I mean, I guess, I don't know. It's up to you whether you think it's great or not. But at the end of the day, you know, you're also, again, getting rid of a lesson. And so some people are totally cool with that. Some people play creature decks that are 100% that style, where they just have a ton of lessons and they're just continuously getting rid of them so that they can put some creatures out. I just got to get used to that. So hopefully this deck is going to help me do that, because there's nothing but these cards in there. All right, so we're running 3 of Dog Breath Potion. We've got some Hospital Wing, which is another healing card. To play this card, discard 1 of your potion lessons from play, shuffle up to 8 non-healing cards from your discard pile into your deck. So we do have, you know, an equal amount of like healing and damage, so that's pretty fun. But again, you know, obviously if you play your opponent and they have any type of cards that allow them to discard your cards that are in play, then they're going to definitely go for those lessons, because it's already detrimental to anybody if you get rid of lessons, but it's even more detrimental if in order for you to play a card, you have to discard a lesson yourself. So that's why it kind of puts you in it kind of puts you in even more of a vulnerable state than any other deck, in my opinion. So we've got 2 Hospital Wing in there. The Transfiguration cards that are used in this deck are definitely meant to slow down your opponent. So we've got 4 Defendo, which read, choose 1 of your opponent's cards in play. Your opponent discards that card. So obviously other than their starting character. So you can do anything like creatures, items, locations, lessons, etc. So they've got 4 of those. Then we've got some Incarceforce. It's a spell. Choose 1 of your opponent's creatures in play and discard it. And there are 4 of those. And then, of course, we've got some Lost Notes that is specific to items and lessons. Choose 1 of your opponent's items or lessons in play and discard it. So this is always good, just slowing down your opponent. Every single one of these is specific to slowing down your opponent and getting rid of something. Items, lessons, creatures, or whatever card of your choosing. So then they had some adventure cards in here as well. So the thing about these adventures, what they do, which I think I mentioned in the previous deck tech from Pojo. So what they'll do is somebody will create a deck list, send it into this person Snuffles. There's another person, I believe the name is Mad Eye. But apparently what they do is just look over your deck and then they switch it up according to what they think would be the best type of cards to have in that specific deck. So what I did with these adventures was I took a couple from the original list and a couple from the list that Snuffles had edited. And so, so we'll get to that. So Gaze into the Mirror. There are 3 of these. So for this adventure, the effect is during your opponent's turns, prevent all damage done to you by spell cards. To solve it, your opponent chooses 5 spell cards in his or her hand and discards them. The reward is that your opponent gets 1 more action. So I haven't played with Gaze in the Mirror too much, but it seems like a pretty good adventure. Troll in the Bathroom and Hagrid Needs Help are the other adventures that are in this list. So what Snuffles did was took Hagrid Needs Help out and replaced it with a 3rd Troll in the Bathroom. But because the original list had Hagrid Needs Help and no Troll in the Bathroom. And so I really do like Hagrid Needs Help. It's one of the best adventures in my opinion. That 8 damage sucks. And so sometimes your opponent will solve it right away, but they sometimes won't. And so it kind of limits them. But whether they solve it or not, having less actions or doing 8 damage is a pain anyway. So Instead of having 3 troll in the bathroom, I decided to have this one in addition. So anyway, as we know, or for some of you that don't, Hagrid needs help. Your opponent gets 1 fewer action on each of his or her turns, even the turn this adventure is solved. If this would mean your opponent has fewer than 1 action, he or she still gets 1 action. To solve it, your opponent takes 8 damage, and the reward is that they may draw 3 cards. And then for Troll in the Bathroom, before each of your turns, your opponent takes 2 damage. To solve it, your opponent chooses 7 cards in his or her hand and discards it, and the reward is you take 4 damage. So the 4 damage isn't the best, right, as far as a reward. According to Snuffles, when they were typing this list to edit it, they stated that most people don't like to solve Troll in the Bathroom because getting rid of seven cards sucks, and so they'll kind of keep it in play for a little bit longer. But even if that were the case, no matter when they solve it, you will take that 4 damage. But because of all the healing cards that we've got in here that we went over, it maybe won't be as bad. They are running 2 of these, and so that's a guaranteed 8 damage if you end up playing them both and they actually solve them. They might have a McGonagall themselves, and they're able to get rid of it, and then it doesn't do anything to them. But in case they do, then you're at least able to heal yourself with some of those healing cards. So simple enough, really good deck. As you probably already noticed, all of these cards are from the first 2 sets, from base set and from Quidditch Cup. So that's one of the things that I really like about that website and the decks that they have, is if you're limited. I mean, if you only have base set cards and you only have Quidditch cards, then they are still options for you to build really good decks. I mean, there was a time when they only had base set cards, right? So building decks with base set cards is all you had. And so just kind of being able to see what they did back in the day is, of course, always helpful. And it's just fun. And, you know, the fact that I'm able to build some of these decks because of the extra cards that I have, I'm thankful for. So yeah, just a way to kind of see some other options you have if you're limited on getting your hands on cards. Once upon a time, base set and QC were some of the cheapest cards that you can get your hands on. Things have changed, obviously. Nonetheless, if anybody's looking for cards or for specific decks, then reach out to me and I'll do my best to help out. All right, everybody, that'll do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about this deck. I'm going to play with it a little bit more and I might change a couple things, but I kept it the way that they had it on the website because it is really good. I just have a problem with playing with potions cards where I have to get rid of so many potions because that's the weakness of the deck. And then, of course, if your opponent takes those potions from you or even those items that provide the potion power, then obviously, you know, that's problematic. But anyway, I got to get over that. It's a really good deck, and I have a lot of fun playing with it. Like I said, I've only used it a couple times, but I'm playing in the league this week. So I'm going to play with it more and, you know, see how it works. And like I said, if there's anything that I need to change about it, then I'll do that. For those of you that are interested in playing in the league, please consider joining. The link will be in the description below. And if you don't have any decks, then reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to work something out and provide a deck for you. I've built quite a few decks for people in the league. And specifically for the league, so for those coming in that might need cards, these decks are already pre-built and they are already playable. So if you're interested in that, then let me know. Otherwise, have fun, be safe, and we'll catch you next time.